Hello, everybody. Today's podcast is a real treat. We are going to have Liz and Charlie, two of the most accomplished judges for dog shows in the United States, and we are going to have a very lively and entertaining discussion. We talk about how to get into the dog show business, what goes on behind the scenes, what judges look for. We even talk a little bit about the TV or the movie Best in Show. But it's a lighthearted look at a very serious big business, how they handle themselves. We talk about traits of breeds. So it's going to be a fun show today. I hope you'll take a few minutes and listen. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Todd's podcast. We have a very fun show for you today. My guests are Charlie Olvis and his wife partner, Liz Muthard. You may not recognize their names, but if you watched a dog show on TV, you've probably seen them. Most recently, Charlie was the Best of Show judge for the 2025 National Dog Show, sponsored by Purina and organized by the Philadelphia Kennel Club. It was shown this past Thanksgiving, on Thanksgiving Day, and Liz has also been successful at breeding and showing Siberian Huskies, Labradors, Otter Hounds, and Standard Poodles. She's been a professional handler and produced several top-rated group and Best in Show winners. He began judging just one breed over 3 decades ago, it looks like. They're both among a very, very limited number of AKC judges qualified to judge all 200 breeds. They've judged in several countries as well as throughout the U.S. and Canada. They've also judged at some of the most prestigious shows, including the Westminster Kennel Club, the AKC Invitational, and the National Dog Show. How did I do?
Perfect.
All right, good. Also, those of you who are frequent listeners, you all know our thoroughbred Eli, who's running the board and producing the show as usual. He's not wearing the Brute I got him for his Christmas present, but that's okay. I think I have some English leather high karate that's going to be in his future. We're going to steal that off of Gary's desk. So, Charlie, Liz, welcome. We're glad you're here. This is going to be a pretty good show, I think. I did our pre-interview a day or two ago, and it was really fun. And I ended up having to leave because I felt like I was getting ready to be served dinner. Y'all were so hospitable to me. We just kept talking.
Have you heard about my cooking?
No, I haven't. But Charlie looks fairly healthy, so I think we're okay. How does a person get started in the world of judging? Both of y'all have judged. You've done all sorts of things in the dog show world. How do you get started in judging?
It sort of starts with a dog. You get a purebred dog and you like your dog. You learn about dog shows, start showing a dog. To be a judge, you have to have a lot of experience prior to applying. So you have to have been in the sport for a number of years.
So it's a sport. Y'all consider it a sport, not like a competition or exhibition.
We call it a sport,
Okay.
and actually it's got a very long history in the U.S. It's been around for a long time. And after getting more interested, most people that are judges spend some time exhibiting, some time breeding, and producing quality dogs that earn their titles. And then the judging bug hits you.
Going back, when we say it's a sport, it's actually the second longest sport in the U.S. The only thing that's been around longer is the Kentucky Derby.
Really?
Yes, been around a long, long time.
Wow. So how long have y'all been judging?
I've been judging 33 years. So I started out when I was 2 years old. That's why I'm only 35 now.
Well, the last 35 years have been rough on you, Charlie. I'm just going to let you know. You look tough for 37. How about you, Liz?
I gave him a bit of a head start, so I've been judging close to 30 years.
Okay. When you first got in the sport, did you say, hey, I want to eventually get to be a judge, or did you just start off because you enjoyed the dogs and the showing, handling, managing, producing, breeding?
I can tell you why I started. She used to show dogs professionally for other people, which they paid her to show the dog, okay? And the reason why I became a judge, some of your clients, I shouldn't say this, don't pay on time, and you have to go to dog shows with your own money, and you have to, and at some point in my life, I just said to her, I can't take this anymore.
Right.
I'm going to become a judge. And my best friend in life was Mr. Bob Stein. He recently passed away, but he was my mentor. I looked up to him, and he is an all-around judge, and that's one of the reasons. Plus, I had a couple people that were like my mom and dad, Ellen and Bob Fetter, and they were judges, and I looked up to them and thought the world of all three of them, and basically that's why I decided to judge. I thought, you know what, I'd watch some of the judging, and I thought, I can't be that bad. Some of it I'd watch and go, that's terrible. I guess I'd fit right in.
Right. How about you, Liz?
For me, it just was sort of a natural progression. I started out, as I said, with one dog, started going to shows, developed friendships that are 50 years old now,
Right.
and got more involved in more shows and more shows. And then with Charlie, at the time he made the decision to judge, that was an end to my professional handling, because the rules of the AKC are that a judge cannot reside in the same household
Right.
with a professional handler, that it's a conflict. So he sort of pushed me in that direction.
So you gave it up all for Charlie,
Oh, yeah, all for love.
or the thoroughbred that is Charlie, or the purebred, I guess, more is what it is. What was your first dog breed that you had, or first dog that you had?
My very first dog was an Old English sheepdog. And a lot of people say, why? If you look at my hair, it's hanging in my eyes. So I guess people always say you look a lot like your dog, I guess.
Okay, so Liz, now what dog do you look like now that?
Unlike Charlie, we always had a dog when I was growing
Yeah,
up.
we did too.
The first dog that I remember was a collie shepherd mix that looked like a collie. And then came a Cocker Spaniel that my parents adopted from the Humane Society, who did not have a very nice temperament. So that was a short time with us.
We have some people around here that don't have a very good temperament.
They better watch
We
it.
thought about taking them to the pound,
Yeah.
but we haven't been able to get them in the car yet.
And then basically I grew up most of my years with a standard poodle and then a miniature poodle, which was my dog. So that was it growing up. As an adult, we were given a Siberian Husky that didn't last with us long. And then my ex-husband bought another Siberian Husky puppy for me as a birthday gift. And that was my start as an adult in purebred dogs.
What does AKC stand for, and what does it mean to really be a sanctioned judge?
The AKC stands for the American Kennel Club. Okay, when you become a judge, they have rules that you have to abide by. And the American Kennel Club basically stands for purebred dogs, okay?
Okay.
And that's what they function with. That's what they've always been. And when you're a judge, they have certain rules that you have to abide by. You know, you just like she said, if you want to judge and she's a handler, you can't live in the same household. You know, you have to be professional in the ring. You can't curse at people. You can't do anything like that. You have to, I always say a judge has to be, and we discussed this in the car, she disagreed with me, but a judge has to be an
Imagine
artist and also a performer. Okay?
And professional.
Absolutely. You got to be professional.
All the way through.
And you have to, you have to go in there and act like you know what you're doing. And you have to have a good ring procedure. And that's one thing I pride myself on. For 33 years, I've had the same ring procedure I've always used. So if you come in my ring and you've shown to me X amount of times, you know exactly what I'm going to do. And that's important. You don't want people to come in your ring and be confused. Another thing in this sport, you get a lot of young people, and they don't know what they're doing. You have to have patience, and you have to remember everybody started somewhere.
Right.
We're not all professionals, and you have to be kind, nice, and understanding. And that's basically it. I say you have to be an actor sometimes. If I come to judge and I don't feel good, The exhibitor doesn't care about that.
The audience doesn't
Right,
care.
the audience doesn't care.
They want your best performance.
Absolutely. So you got to put a smile on your face.
Right.
Whatever problem you have that day, you have to put aside and do your job.
Right. How many AKC-sanctioned judges are there?
We think we're not exactly right, but we think there's over 10,000 judges.
Okay.
And all around judges, which can do all breeds.
Right.
There's only 17 of us, and Liz and I are the only couple in the United States that can do every breed.
So you both are qualified to do all 200 breeds, and there's only 17 of y'all in the whole U.S. or the whole world?
The U.S.
The U.S.
Now, Canada's much different than us. Canada has it takes forever for you to be an all-breed judge in the United States. In Canada, you can be an all-breed judge in 5 years. That doesn't make you good, but you can do it.
Right.
You know, I always say this, you know, moving fast ain't always the best solution.
Right.
Sometimes taking your time doing it right. People pay a lot of money. They want an informed opinion. Anybody can go in the ring, you, me, Liz, and just point to something. But people pay a lot of money. They want an informed decision. They want to know when they step in the ring, you know their breed, you know the characteristics of their breed, and you know what you're doing.
With 200 breeds, have y'all, between you or each of you, have you judged all 200 in your judging careers? Are there some that say there's really not that much of a breed that shows up anymore?
Pretty much. There are breeds that are very small in number, and you don't see all the breeds at every show. Some breeds are the popular breeds you see all the time. Others you might see once in a while.
What's your favorite breed to judge? Or what's the hardest? I mean, sure, you've got favorites because you have pets and you've seen them all.
I guess my favorite's the one in front of me. I don't have a favorite as far as judging.
Charlie, you got a favorite?
I got to be honest with you. I love Old English sheepdogs because I've had them, but I absolutely love border terriers and pugs. Pugs. Whenever I judge pugs, I just put a big smile on my face because they're just happy-go-lucky dogs, and and of course we have a border terrier, and
right.
They're just great dogs. They're I always say about border terriers, they're the best kept secret in dogs.
And that was your dog that you had at your house?
Yes.
That was the friendliest little booger in the world. He was willing to play and get in my lap, and it's like, I don't care who you are. I just met you 10 minutes ago. Let's have a conversation.
And I always tell people at dog shows, people come up, what dog should I get? I want to get a little dog. I said, get a border terrier. They're great. They don't fight. They love other people. They love other dogs. They're just wonderful. They're easy to housebreak. And, we call her our house mouse. She sleeps in our bed and everything else. I mean, the funny part about any dog or most dogs, we can leave the house and be gone for 2 minutes and come back. And to her, it's like you've been gone for 17 days.
Right.
She's jumping up and down, happy to see you. One thing I'll say about dogs, and I'm just like everybody in life. I've had ups and downs and everything. And every time I've had a dog, let me tell you, they get you through a lot of rough things. They're there. They don't care what your day is. They're there to help you and whatever. And, I don't know what I would do without the dogs that I had through my life. I mean, I've had some tough times, and they were always there for me. They put a smile on my face, and they make me happy.
Well, it's good that y'all found what you love, and you can figure out how to make a living and have a social life out of it because of the friends you made. How many classes of dogs are there? Is that what you call them? The 7 categories or classes that we talk about?
The 7 are the groups.
Groups, not classes. Sorry, groups.
The groups are based on the dog's that breed's original purpose. You've got your sporting dogs. In some countries, they're called gun dogs. And then the hounds. Working dogs are for protection or like drafting, that type of thing. Some of them are guardians of livestock, and the working group used to include the herding dogs. Now there's a separate group for herding dogs because there were so many breeds that AKC split that. Then you've got toy dogs, terriers, and non-sporting is sort of a catch-all. You have in there are Dalmatians, which used to be coach dogs. You've got poodles, which were sporting dogs, and you've got some smaller ones that could be toy or non-sporting. So the 7 groups are based on the original purpose of the breeds.
Eli, next time we go to lunch, we'll have to put everyone in the office in one of those groups and see where they all see where you disagree with me. I've already got where I'm putting Dean and Gary. What's the hardest breed or class to judge? Or is there one? I know you have told me you judge to the standard. So
I always have a tough time judging cockers. I like cockers. Obviously, I like all dogs, or I wouldn't do this.
Right.
I mean, but cockers are always a challenge for me because there's some things in the breed that are lacking, and it's very hard for me to judge that breed because the things that they're supposed to have, they don't always have. And, maybe it's my mindset too. I go in thinking, what kind of day am I going to have today doing these cockers? But I always get through it, always have a smile on my face. And, and in the end, you always find a good one that you like.
Right.
So, but for me, that's a tough breed.
how about you?
The hardest thing to judge is a class of poor quality
Okay.
in any breed.
Yeah.
Because you're so disappointed that that the quality isn't there and you're expected to reward something. We as judges have the ability to withhold awards, but it's like a double-edged sword. Oftentimes, these lesser dogs are shown by novice people. It may be their first dog.
Right. And
you don't want to give them a bad taste. You don't want to turn them away from the sport, from the hobby. So that's a tough thing to do if you've got bad dogs. It's always more fun to judge good ones.
Are there some dogs that are more calm when they're in front of a group or a stadium or a
Absolutely.
whatever? Are there some that just have stage fright and they're like really good backstage and they get out and it's like,
well, you
my gosh.
find dogs that are shown like every weekend seasonal, what we call special dogs,
Right.
okay, that people special. Those dogs don't get riled over anything.
like Eli, never gets
Right.
riled. He
Right.
shows that we show him every week and
Right.
won a few ribbons.
Yeah.
And
Well, they don't get riled. Now, novice dogs that haven't been in the ring very much,
Evangeline.
noise, or I can tell you this, when you're doing a TV show, okay, and they have the overall camera coming down on dogs, and dogs that haven't seen that before, some dogs do sort of freak out.
Right.
Because they don't know what that is. But all in all, most of the dogs, by the time they get into the group, they're pretty calm, and I mean, nothing really affects them. Screaming, yelling, people in the stands. A lot of dogs feed off that. When they hear people clapping and screaming and everything, they just pop. They just pump themselves up and become a better dog.
I had a dog one time that I showed who loved the attention,
Okay.
loved the crowd. And she got
A
to
couple of
the
those around here too. Right. They're on that side of the building.
when you have all the group dogs, there's 20 some dogs in there, and often a judge will make what we call as a cut or a short list. This dog got to the point where she didn't show well until she made that short list.
Right.
And you couldn't explain to her that you have to show well to make the short
Right.
list. But the louder the crowd was, the happier she
Performed
was.
and responded well.
She had to have the adoration of the crowd.
And another thing too is a lot of dogs love the show. Okay, I mean they were meant to show. They're up, they're good, and there's other dogs, and I've had a couple that you walk in the ring, they didn't really want to be in there.
Right.
Okay, and that's okay. They were my pet. And not every dog has to be a show dog. As long as you have a dog and you love it, good for you. I mean, that's what I tell
Ultimately,
everybody.
they're pets.
Huh?
Ultimately, they are pets.
Absolutely. Ultimately, they are pets. And sometimes you get up, you don't feel well, neither does a dog. And you run them around in a circle and they go, I don't feel good. I don't want to do this today. Dogs are just like people. I mean, I don't get up every day and feel 100%. Nobody does, and neither does a dog. And sometimes you can take a dog to so many dog shows that you that you like, they're like, they get
Burned out.
They get
Just
burned
like we
out.
do.
They get burned out. If you've shown a dog for 2 or 3 years and at the end they start not showing, they're just burnt out. They don't want to do it anymore. And, and I understand that. It's like, I tell people, judging isn't for everybody.
Right.
I enjoy it. It brings joy to my life. I've got to see places I never would have got to see. I've got to make friends I never would have gotten to make.
Travel.
I've got to travel. I came from a very poor family, so for me this has been great. And that's a horrible thing to say, but if I died tomorrow, I've had a great life.
Good.
And a great life includes dogs, people, dog showing, and I just couldn't sit at home and not do that. It's something I love, and I think a lot of people love me, a lot of people don't, but you have to be thick-skinned. Not everybody's going to love you, and no matter what business you're in.
Right. Is there a school to go to start the judging life, and then it's got to be, hey, just start going to dog shows and see one, if you really enjoy it, watch the man or the woman that's judging and say, okay, I might have some applications.
There's not a school per se. However, there's a lot of education involved in judging. The American Kennel Club has courses for beginner judges, if you're thinking about judging or new to judging, to teach you things that are important to consider as a judge, some of the things that Charlie mentioned. And then as you go on, they have different institutes based on certain breeds or certain groups. So also the breed parent clubs have educational opportunities, and education is part of advancing in judging. You can't advance without continuing your education.
And with that, you have to take a breed standard test. Okay, a lot of breeds have disqualifications. Say they're missing 3 teeth or something like that. You have to, excuse them from the ring. Not excuse them, you have to disqualify them. So, you have to know breed standards. You have to take a breed test. You have to take an interview with an AKC rep.
Why would someone show up with a dog with missing 3 teeth if they know the standard that you're judging to?
Well, some people are novice and they don't know.
Okay.
And they don't know their dog's missing 3 teeth and it's a disqualification. Or some, honestly, some just try to fool you. If they put their finger where that tooth is, when they open up the mouth, you can't see it. There's all tricks to the trade. A smart judge will figure that out, but, a lot of novice judges won't see that. And to be honest with you, it's 1 or 2 of their first times judging. They're just trying to do a good job. So, they're just trying to get through the day, and they miss stuff like that.
Well, when we finish here today, I want you both to walk through the office and look at everyone and see who's best in office. You don't have to stick your finger in their mouth, because I know who doesn't have all their teeth.
Did you bring the rosettes, the ribbons?
We probably have them around here somewhere. We probably got a couple of crowns for some of the princesses that are around here. Eli sits in between 3 of them. That's why Eli is best in show all the time. Todd's podcast is sponsored in part by Saunders Real Estate, your trusted partner in land and commercial real estate since 1996. With over 125 expert advisors located throughout the Southeast United States, the full-service brokerage specializes in a wide range of property types, from farms and ranches to commercial buildings and development land. If you're looking to build your legacy with a confident investment, please visit SaundersRealEstate.com or call 877-518-5263 to connect with an advisor today. We talked about judging to standards, and the pre-interview that we did a couple of days ago was just absolutely fascinating to me. I really could have sat there a lot longer, but you as a judge of 200 breeds, you have to know what the standard is for all 200 of those. I can't imagine you have all that retained every day, and you got, like you said, you go to a show and you're going to be breeding this class or this group or whatever, or maybe the whole thing. you got to kind of sit down in front of a book or a computer and do kind of refresh and say, what's a lab supposed to be? What's the jawline of this dog supposed to be or something?
Absolutely. We have access to the standards while we're judging. So if we have a question, we can refer to the standard. But again, like saying review, if you see that tomorrow you're going to judge 56 Labradors, you might take a glance at the standard, just
Right.
not that you don't know the breed,
Right.
but just some of the fine wording, because you might see something in a dog and it's like, I think that's okay, but exactly how is the standard worded? And you've got the standard right there to refer to.
If you've got to differentiate 1 out of 56, you better know it front and back.
Well, I can tell you from experience, I've judged before, and I've had a dog in a ring, and it may be a color that I'd never seen before. And before I make judgment on that dog, before I don't put it up or I do put it up for the points, I go back to the standard because, I don't want to throw a dog out that can legally win points or should win. And I don't want to put one up that, obviously that's not correct. So you do have, like she said, you have access to the breed standards. You go back and look at it, and then, a lot of times too, like a breed standard will have a height disqualification. And if I'm going to put that dog up for the points, a lot of times I'll bring the wicket out and I'll measure that dog in front of everybody to make sure everybody sees that dog measures in. Okay, so it's just stuff like that. You can't remember everything.
Right.
I don't care who you are.
Right.
Every standard. And I also say this about judging dogs. There's some breeds you could put a blindfold on and you could judge them 100% correct every time. And there's other breeds you struggle with every time you do them. And I don't care who you are. That's just a fact. And if anybody tells you something different, they're not telling you the truth.
Right.
So, that's just, there's breeds you can do, and there's breeds you struggle with.
Yeah, you made the comment that there are no perfect dogs. There's always an imperfection in them, and that's why you're judging to the standards, and you don't necessarily judge this lab versus that lab or this cocker versus that cocker.
Going back to what I said before in the pre-interview with you, okay? Every dog, I don't care how great it's been or how much winning it's done, has a fault. Every dog has a fault according to the standard. But you're not judging faults, you're judging the overall dog, just like you're judging an overall person. You don't pick this or that about the person, you're judging everything about the person that they've done through their life. And that's the same thing with a dog. You're judging the overall dog, not bits and pieces.
So when you see a judge watching them on TV, and I think that's where most people have seen this, when you're rubbing your hand on the undercarriage, when you're running down the back haunches, the front shoulders, the mouth, the jaw, you are in your mind saying this jawline meets the standard or exceeds the standard. Can you exceed a standard? And is that a deduction if they have a bigger jawline than they're supposed to, or a bigger rear end, or you say, hey, you really are a little outside of here?
Once again, that's just a fault.
Right.
And you got to take it. You have to take it in, I guess, what bothers you may not bother me, okay? It might be a minor fault, and I'm okay with it. If it's a major, major fault, then, I might have a problem with it. But once again, you're judging the overall dog. Maybe one goes down and back and doesn't have a great front or a great rear, but overall, it's a great dog. And when you walk into the ring and they're all lined up and you look down the line, you're looking for what they call type. And type means what that dog looks like in your mind. Does it conform to the standard? And you look at it and you pick 1 or 2 or 3 that you like, and then you hopefully pray that it can walk around the ring like it's supposed to according to the breed standard. But that's what you do. But breed type has to rule everything. It has to have breed type. I always say if you took a dog's head off its body and put it on a table and you can't tell what it is, it has no breed type.
Right. So you don't want an overachieving dog that's bigger than they're supposed to be, or...
No, because the standard will describe the ideal size.
So when we watched you judges, and again, you're rubbing the whole dog over. You are doing it for a reason. It's not for show. Hey, let's put on a little bit of a show to get the people in the TV world. I'm looking at his gums, or I'm looking at his teeth to make
there
sure.
There are some that are a little more dramatic than
Okay.
others, but
Yeah, around here too.
But
around here too.
when you're going over, like a dog like that, you're going over, maybe the standard calls for a level top line. You're putting your hand there, or like an Old English sheepdog, it calls for a rise over the loin. So you're making sure that that's there. And like opening the mouth up, a lot of breeds have disqualifications for missing teeth. A lot of them just say, full dentition. So you're just looking to make sure they have all their teeth. And when you put your hand down their chest, you're making sure that they have some kind of chest there.
Right.
And most dogs say that their, chest is supposed to come down to their elbow. So you want to make sure that that's there.
But it's so important because all these dogs were bred for a reason.
Correct.
If you go back to what y'all started off with,
Right.
every dog breed has been bred for whether they're herding, and it could be
Right.
for herding cows versus sheep versus goats versus in the mountains. I found that fascinating. We were talking the other day is, some have different skin on the face, or different, why they have extra skin on their body to
Right.
help shed the rocks and everything. It's just amazing the different ways that everything is kind of evolved, but it's still the same.
Well, that's like with most terriers, okay? They have to go in like a hole to pull out vermin or something like that. So, they have to be the correct size. They have to have the correct skin. They have to have the correct head. That's really important for what they do. And, like in my breed, Old English sheepdogs, they have to be the correct size to herd sheep, okay? And the top line is directed for them to make turns that, quick as you'll ever see.
Right.
And, every breed standard has a, characteristic in it that sets it apart from other dogs. And it's really important to make sure that you know those characteristics.
I've seen dogs with different color eyes. Is that a defect in the dog? I mean, are there dogs that are bred to have different color eyes?
it depends on the breed. Again, the standard will specify the majority of dogs are supposed to have brown eyes, generally
really?
darker brown.
Right.
There are other breeds that allow blue or amber or even greenish. And then, again, we're going back to the origins of the
Right.
breed and those genes that come through. In most breeds that allow color in the eyes, you're going to find what's called a merle pattern, which is different colors in the coat together. And that somehow those genes seem to be related. But other breeds definitely don't have that, and they don't want the color either in the eye.
Well, when we walk through the office, there's 2 employees with different color eyes. We'll see if you can pick them out. Eli knows who they are, and we're going to keep it a secret, so we'll see if you can.
I went to school with a girl
Right.
with
With
two different color eyes. Yeah.
One of my first Old English sheepdogs had one brown eye and one blue eye.
Right.
So, but it was okay according to the standard. A lot of standards call for dark eyes, and when they say that, a light eye is a fault. Everything's a fault that doesn't conform to the standard, but how big of a fault is it? You have to determine that as a judge.
Right. So y'all have the ability to be very subjective, obviously, is your opinion.
It's all subjective.
Your
It's all
opinion is how you
opinion.
interpret these standards.
Yes.
So the big question is, and I think most people older than Eli will have seen the movie Best in Show. Was a lot of our perspective because it was just hilarious. How close was Best in Show to capturing the world of dog shows? I mean, I know it's a parody and I know it's a comedy, so it's not meant to be an ugly question, but there's got to be some similarities.
Those characters exist.
Do they really?
Not all the time. Not everyone.
The one with 2 left feet?
Not every show.
Yeah.
But sometimes we'll even joke about it, like, oh my God, we're the movie.
Do the judges sit back and say, hey, that's the 2 guys, or this is the husband and wife with a Norwich Terrier, or hey, that guy's probably got a bloodhound? Or
Well, you see it, but you really can't make a comment of any kind. But you see it outside the ring. If you've been in this business for as long as we have, you've seen everything you can possibly see. I mean, I've seen stuff I just have to blink twice and go, I don't believe that happened.
Years ago, there was a couple when I showed in the Northeast, and this husband and wife argued through the entire day, every show you were at.
Oh, my gosh.
You would swear that, they had to have battle scars, but they'd come together in the morning and leave together in the afternoon, week after week.
That's just how they got along as a couple.
Yeah, I guess they wanted
Did the dog suffer
They
from
wanted
having
to. I don't think so. They wanted to
PTSD or
star in
anything?
the next movie.
I guess. You mentioned the squeaky toy. You said that was you remember that being a true
Well, a lot of people show their dog with a squeaky toy. It gets the dog's ears up if that particular breed needs their ears up. But yeah, we've seen people, fight over squeaky toys and stuff like that. I mean, like I said, I've been in this business. I've seen everything. One time I was judging German Shepherds, okay? I was in the ring, and this dog's name was, what was his name?
Willie.
Willie. This dog name was Willie, and it kept going down and back, and every time it did, it'd jump out of its lead and run around the ring. And I gave the lady like a fourth place, and I said, maybe it's time to free Willie. One time I was doing shepherds, and this handler had it, and the shepherd got off the lead, ran out of the ring, ran to the next ring. There was nobody in it, and went on around the ring like it was showing. Like I said, I've seen everything you can possibly see.
Do you ever see people mistreating their animals, trying to get them to conform before they get ready to perform for you all or other judges?
Absolutely. When I see exhibitors in the ring and they have puppies 6, 7 months old, and they start jerking on them or, getting really tough on them, I say, please stop. It's a puppy. You're going to ruin the dog. Let the dog have a good, fun experience. This isn't the end of the world. It's just a dog show.
You say that as a judge or as a
judge.
trainer?
I say that
or
as a
just
judge.
as a human being? Say,
Right.
hey,
Right.
ease up on your dog. It's
Right. I say that as a judge in the ring. I say, lighten up on the dog. You're going to ruin it. It's just a dog show.
Right.
It's like you're not going to win anyway with a
Right.
dog that won't walk around the ring. Don't make the dog hate this.
Right.
Well,
Especially if you want to keep doing
Well,
it.
let me tell you, we've seen dogs that don't want to do it, and they're dragging them around the ring. The lead's out from them, they're dragging them. And for me, it upsets me.
Right.
It upsets me because I wouldn't treat a dog that way, and I don't think a dog should be treated that way. And once again, like I said
Well, they don't have a
before,
choice in it.
Right.
I mean,
they have no choice. And once again, like you said, maybe that dog don't want to do that, and that's okay. Don't force him to do something he doesn't want to do. He's your pet, and that should be more important to you than a dog show.
Yeah. You've mentioned several different names or titles of people. You mentioned owner, breeder, handler, trainer. What's really the difference in it? And, I want to ask you about money, but I want to kind of understand, like if I own a dog and I say, I think I want to show this dog, what would my next step be? I don't know anything about it. I just think I've got a remarkable dog. And
I would say your next step would be going to a dog show.
okay.
And if you like what you see and you want to do that, talk to someone and find out how to enter a dog show. There's also classes, training classes we're talking about conformation here, which is what we judge. There are training classes. Lots of clubs hold training classes so that you learn what you're going to do when you're in the ring so that you do a better job.
Right.
But as an owner, enter your dog, show your dog.
So is there a difference between a trainer and a handler? I mean, I know the breeder is the one who says, I'm going to start breeding these animals for a reason. Right. And an owner may just be, hey, I happen to buy one of those dogs from that breeder. But then, you've mentioned a trainer and also a handler. Does the handler just take over at the show? Is that where they see the dog maybe for the first time?
Well,
or
not
they don't
always.
go home with them?
Sometimes they, as you as an owner will say, I want a handler to show my dog. That dog may go with that owner and live with that owner until it finishes its championship or whatever they want to do with it. But a professional handler, you can take the dog ringside and they'll take it in and show it for you. They get paid, they get paid to show that dog, anywhere from,
It doesn't matter.
well, it doesn't matter, but anywhere from $100 to $150 a dog. And like I
Until
said,
they get eliminated, or just for that one lap around the
well,
ring?
just for that one lap around the ring. But the
getting the
ultimate
ideas,
goal,
Eli.
the ultimate goal for the handlers to finish that dog for you.
Right.
I mean, but I always say this to people, as an owner handler, if you have a good dog, you don't need a handler to finish it for you. If you do your work, homework, and go to classes and learn how to show the dog, you can finish your dog yourself. You got to remember, a lot of times a handler gets a dog at ringside. He don't know that dog, but he knows how to show it. So if you're an owner and you have a dog and it's with you 24/7, you should be able to show that dog better than a handler.
Right.
That dog's with you. That handler's just taking the dog in and doing the best he can do.
So some of the people that run around the ring with the dogs, those are the handlers, right? And I could show up with my dog and, oh, I hurt my foot, I can't run around with them. I could go hire someone, pay them a
Absolutely.
fee, and their sole job is to get acquainted with them, however briefly, and try and establish rapport and run them around, and hopefully they do
Right.
well and they get a
Well,
doggy treat.
a lot of times, gosh, I shouldn't say this, but a handler might win with a dog that he shouldn't win with. I mean, that happens. But I always say this, too, about dog shows. You win sometimes when you shouldn't, and you lose sometimes when you shouldn't. And, that's just the way it is. And sometimes novice people complain that handlers win a lot. But handlers, they know what they're doing. They're professionals.
They show the dog in the best way for you guys to
Absolutely.
judge them.
They can take a dog outside the ring that looks like 5 cents and take it in the ring and make it look like $1.50.
Right.
I mean, that's what they're paid to do. And their job is to sell that dog to the judge.
Sounds just a little bit like a jockey when they get on a horse, and it's their job to get the best out of that horse for that 1.25 miles or
Right.
1.5 miles.
And that's the same way with a handler. But once again, if you're an owner or breeder or whatever, you have a good dog, you can take it in. I was an owner handler with Old English sheepdogs, and believe me, I could beat handlers any day of the week because I knew how to show my dog. Right. And I also was selective of what I showed. If we bred something that was not any good, I didn't show it. If I bred a really good one, I knew I could take it in the ring, and I knew I could beat handlers.
Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, you had asked about, trainer, handler. Basically, the professional handler is a trainer as well. There aren't separate trainers like there are in horses.
Right.
There's not like the trainer and the jockey and that kind of thing. If you, there are people who don't want to be in the ring for whatever reason. Either they're physically not able to run around, or they just don't enjoy the pressure of being in the ring. People go in there and you see people with their hands shaking. It's like, this is fun. Aren't you having a good time?
And they're smoking like a sieve out back, trying to calm their knees.
But so those are some of the reasons for professional handlers. But the professional handler also keeps dogs, trains dogs, conditions them mentally and physically so that they do have a better chance when they go in the ring.
I can tell you my experience when I first started, I used a handler, to show my dogs because I was terrified to go in there and I didn't think I was good enough to win. And, when I was very novice, I can remember the first time I was in the ring, the judge said, take your dog around, which meant take it around the ring. I went around in a circle and everybody laughed and everything. I'd go, what's going on? Now I look back at it, I was pretty stupid, but I didn't know any better. And, then after I watched a while and I got with Liz and everything, I thought, I can show my own dogs and win. I don't need to pay somebody to show my dogs. They're good enough. I can show them. I can win with them. And that's what I did.
Hey, podcasters, if you're looking to elevate your organization's leadership, strategy, and teamwork, please look no further than Two Blue Aces. Founded by a team of military senior officers with over 200 years of combined leadership experience, they deliver executive-level consulting, targeted seminars, keynote addresses, and customized business development strategies. Their one-on-one mentorship and strategic assessments are grounded in real-world decision-making under pressures and have helped companies transform succession planning, team performance, and executive vision. It's rare to access this level of insight outside the military, and I've seen firsthand the impact it can make. To learn more or to connect with their team, please visit twoblueaces.com or call 863-223-2554. What's the funniest thing you've ever seen a handler or a dog do in a competition as they're in the ring? I mean, you've been doing it for decades. There's got to be some incidents that are kind of funny and others that are sad.
You know, you see a dog go down and he comes back and he just flops down on the ground and rolls over. You look at that, you can do nothing but laugh. Right. One time I was doing Mastiffs, which is a big breed. Yep. And the dog came back at me, slung his head like this, and they have like goobers, right?
Yeah, they're slobbers.
And let me tell you, the slobber went on top of my head, and I couldn't even move my hair. And everybody laughed, and it was funny. And I can tell you this, you get that on your coat, and you take your stuff to the dry cleaners every week, and they go, I can't get that out. So you see a lot of funny stuff, or you'll see a dog, a lot of what they call Guinemas, they'll sit up on their back and just stand there until they're judged. It's just funny to see some dogs do some stuff.
You have to have a sense of humor doing this. So when you get slobbered or you get the dog that does whatever, you just say, this isn't your day today, fella.
Right.
Absolutely.
Well, another thing you do when you're judging, you have to watch out for, I always tell a dog to go down and back, and I always move too forward, and a lot of exhibitors don't know that. I've got run over by dogs before.
Right. Knocked down? All the way to the ground?
Oh, yeah. I got knocked down one time and I ended up in the hospital because I hit my head on
So it wasn't Liz that did that. It was a dog.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, she probably wanted to, but
she's giving the dog extra kibble over there. What have you ever been bitten as you're
yes.
judging?
Not
Is it
badly.
Nip, or do they like bite?
Most of the time, it's considered a bite. I mean, they'll grab your hand, and when they bite or attempt to bite, they have to be disqualified. Charlie had a rather bad bite that stemmed from a fight that started in the ring between two dogs. Really? And the one dog, when they got the dogs separated, the one dog was still sort of in fight mode, and Charlie's leg happened to be there, so he got that pretty bad. Most of the time, the bites aren't that severe. There have been instances where dogs have, really hurt someone, but that's the minority by far.
When you get bit, do they break the skin to where you're bleeding, where you need stitches, or just tear your
I can tell you, when I got bit by the Akita, I had holes in my leg. I was bleeding all over the place. And at the time, AKC was having some difficulties with, some aggressive dogs in the ring. And I was on a table, and they put a tourniquet on my leg to stop my leg from bleeding. And there happened to be a photographer there for the newspaper. They took a picture of me, the blood going everywhere, and it was on the front page of the newspaper the next day. It said, "Judge gets attacked severely." And the funny part of this, everybody in dogs knows everybody. And Liz was coming down the next day to be at the show. I was there before her, and she got texts. I got killed in the ring. My face was mauled. This and that. Gosh. And that's how the rumor mill starts in the dog business. And she called up and she said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Yeah, I just got a bunch of holes in my leg, but I'll be okay." And when you have holes in your leg from a dog bite, they can't stitch them.
Right.
If they stitch them, you end up with an infection. So you just have to live with it. And it takes a while for holes in your leg to heal, believe me.
Do y'all get paid to judge? I mean, you're obviously the top of your class, the top of the industry and the business.
We do get paid.
Do all judges get paid, or do you have to have a certain level of achievement?
Different levels of achievement earn you probably different levels of income as well. Judges who don't judge an entire group generally get paid so much per dog.
Okay.
Judges who do a group or more generally charge a fee, and in addition, they get their expenses paid for the shows.
in our case, we're at the top level of what we get paid.
Right. And y'all travel all around.
Right.
It's got to cost you money. I mean,
Right.
it's not like
So we
giving
get
you
a
free
fee.
plane tickets.
Right. We get a fee plus all our expenses, which includes hotel, meals, airline ticket, whatever. But we're at the top of the heap as far as what we get paid a day. So, and to be honest with you, and I have to be, I wouldn't do this if I didn't get paid. And the reason why I say that, it's not because I don't love the dogs, not because I don't love being there, and not because I don't love the people. It's the travel that's really tough. Getting on a plane every weekend, getting from point A to point B is very hard. Flights get canceled, flights get, delayed 4 hours, and you can sit. Sometimes we've had cases where when we're going to California where the flight's delayed and we get in at 4:00 in the morning at the airport, drive to the show or the hotel, take a shower, and go right to work.
Right.
It's tough. If you can't take travel, you can't do it. I don't know that I
Well, you
could
also
do
have
it.
bills to pay. I
Right.
mean, this is you
Right.
got to make a living.
And I don't know if I could do it by myself. Luckily, I have a other half to do it with, and we have we sit together in the plane, we eat together. Sometimes 24/7 ain't the greatest thing in the world, but it's fun. I wouldn't do it. I don't know that I'd do it by myself. And there's plenty of judges that do it, and it's got to be tough on them. It's a tough life. It's not all fun, cherry, and everything you think it is. And when you get to the show, that's the easy part.
Yeah. How many shows do y'all do? How many shows do y'all judge a year?
We judge about 40 weekends a year. We keep saying we want to cut back as we get older, but then you get a phone call and it's somebody you know, and
Right.
will you help us out? Sure.
And all I get from Liz, I thought we were cutting back. We're doing just as many as we always do.
Well, I will tell you, y'all were harder to schedule than Sheriff Judd was. I mean, just when it's like, hey, I think we got some time coming up, and it's like, no, we're doing a show. And with the sheriff, I would just call Tina, his administrative assistant. She said we can do it on this day, we think. But with y'all, it was, I think, earlier this week. We're recording on a Friday morning right now, but I think it was like Tuesday. Hey, we can do it this week if you can squeeze us in.
Right.
I think I came out Wednesday and we did our questions,
Right.
and Eli made everything happen today. So
Yeah.
y'all are in demand, and 40 shows a year is a lot of traveling.
Right. She says 40. I say it's about 46, but I have to hear it from her when I take all these shows too.
Right.
Gee. I go, but like she said, we've been in this business so long, we know everybody,
Right.
they know us. And when a friend calls me up and asks me to do it, I just don't have the heart to say no. First, I'll say, I don't know. They go, oh, come on, everybody wants you guys. I go, okay, we'll do it.
Right.
And that's how basically, a lot of
Good to be in demand.
Right. Well, a lot of times, too, a club will call me up to judge or her up to judge, and she has a different last name than me. And 5 minutes later, the phone will ring again, and I go, Mr. Olvis. And I go, you just called here. And they go, are you two together? I go, yeah. That happens a lot, but most people now know we're together.
Right.
A novice person who's running a show might not.
Right.
But a lot of times, we don't go separate anymore. If you don't hire us both, we don't go, because we've had some health issues, and I don't want to be in a motel room by myself or a hotel room and have a stroke or something, and they get me at 9 o'clock in the morning. And so we don't go separate. So a lot of times I tell a club, if you can't use both of us, I understand,
Right.
but we prefer to do it together. And most clubs will go, oh, no, we want you both. We want you both.
Yeah.
Because they can save money. We can stay in the same hotel room.
And two quality people at the same time, too.
Absolutely. And, and we can do every breed. So if there's a problem, the judge don't show up and we don't have 175 dogs that day, they can just add them on to us. So economically, it's more, it's better for the judge to hire both of us.
How much does a handler or a trainer can they make? I mean, is that a good business for them?
A lot of them don't make as much as you think,
Right.
because they've got such big expenses. It used to be that shows were held in places that didn't have huge parking lots. Now, most of the people, most of the handlers, and a lot of the exhibitors are traveling in motorhomes, which take up
Just
a
a traveling
lot,
road show from show to show.
a lot of space. The top handlers make a lot of money. Most people, I would say, just make an average income. The top handlers do make a lot.
I say the top handlers, some of them make well over $1 million.
Settle down, Eli. You,
Well,
you're not
$1
leaving
million.
us to learn how to judge
Going back,
dogs.
what she says about the motorhomes, those motorhomes, some 350, 500 million bucks sitting in that parking lot. I
understand that.
I don't know how a handler, they have to make money because that what they pay, a month for a motorhome is probably what you pay for a house payment. I mean, it's unbelievable. But there are handlers, and there's some top ones in this country. I mean, really top handlers. They make well over $1 million a year.
You've judged internationally, and I think the other night you said you've kind of limited back now down to kind of the U.S. and some in Canada, not too much, but you do go to Canada. Was it the travel that you did that just kind of wore you out going across the ocean, or was it's a different standard, it's harder, it's just a different world out there, and you kind of like your friends over here, a little bit of everything?
I can tell you from my experience, we have a friend in Hawaii who wants us to judge like there every 2 years. We judge there, and I think I told you earlier, I have a blood clot disorder, okay? I got off the plane, and my leg looked like a tree stump.
Oh, my gosh.
I had like 12 blood clots in my leg. So
Have the vet come and take a look at you.
right. So, and of course, I went to Hawaii. I went to the hospital and everything, and the guy kept telling me, "Oh no, you don't have any blood clots. You don't have any blood clots." So we took a red eye home after we judged. I judged like that in excruciating pain, and we get to Virginia at the times where we lived, and I went to the specialist, and the lady did the ultrasound. She turned white. I go, "What's wrong?" She said, "I can't say anything, can't say anything." I said, "It's all over your face." And the doctor came in. She said, "I'm going to go get the doctor." So the doctor comes in and he said, "You've got massive blood clots in your leg. Did you fly back like this?" I said, "Yeah," because in Hawaii they told me I didn't have anything. So we were supposed to go to Japan in like 2 or 3 weeks. And Liz didn't want to go.
No.
She goes, "He can't fly with all those blood clots." And this doctor says, "Oh, yeah, I can. We're going to put him on blood thinners. But I do tell you this, if he gets off the plane and he can't breathe, you might want to go to the hospital." Because the blood clots in his lung.
I hope you have him well insured, Liz.
Not well enough.
Not well enough.
For me, the hesitation in going overseas is a lot about the possibility of medical issues
Right.
and language barriers. Even though, someone in the hospital is going to speak English, there's going to be languages you don't understand. And so it's like weighing the risks against the benefits.
Right.
And
So it's personal issues rather than animal issues or breed
it's
issues
not the animal
or
issues.
the business side of it. It's just-
It would be great to see some of the same breeds in different countries. But the hesitation is just our age and worrying about medical conditions.
What's the sure way for a dog to lose if they get in the ring and you're judging them? What is their behavior? What do they do that you're going to say other than laying down? You've already said.
Well, if a dog goes around the ring and he's supposed to gate and he's jumping up and down and out of control, he's not going to win.
Right.
Or if you try and go over a dog, okay, that's supposed to have a strong temperament, you go over him, he's like laying on the ground, you can't do anything with that
Right.
dog. I mean, a dog has to have the temperament it's supposed to be bred for. If you go over a Doberman and it's laying to the ground, then I say to myself, I wouldn't want that dog to protect me.
Right.
He's afraid of his own shadow.
Yeah.
Again, like temperament's part of the breed standard. So if a dog is supposed to carry its tail up
Right.
and it's down because it's unsure, afraid, unhappy, whatever, that does affect its placement very much. It's like Charlie said, slinking around the ring
Right.
doesn't generally move you to the front of the line.
So when the bull mastiff hocked a loogie into your hair, did you take points away or say this guy's not going to win this one today?
No, actually that bull mastiff or that mastiff did win that day. He was a great dog. I thought it was funny, and everybody thought it was funny.
That's something
And
like
you have to you have to have a sense of humor if you're judging dogs and people.
And
if you ain't got no sense of humor, you can't do this.
It's sort of like breaking stride. It's not a big deal. If a dog's going around the ring with somebody and they're happy and they jump up, that some people might penalize it. We don't. It's like that dog's having a good time.
Right.
As long as you can evaluate its stride or its at the trot like you're supposed to, it doesn't matter. But negative things affect it more than being happy.
Is the judging world or just your sport in general, is it judged or dominated by women or men? Is it predominantly one or the other? It doesn't really matter? There's just as many women trainers as men trainers or handlers or judges?
I think it's pretty even.
It's pretty even. There's, it's pretty much even as far as judges, as far as men and women.
Okay.
One time, maybe there were more men, but I think now it's pretty much even. But
so the National Dog Show, and I've seen y'all done several, what's the atmosphere like? Is it just a lot of intensity because it is the national show, it's on national TV? Is it still a family-friendly atmosphere? It's just everybody is, when they get on TV, it's calm,
right.
but behind stage, it's just bedlam?
For me, it's not a big deal because I've done so many TV
Right.
things. It's just another day of a dog show. But I can tell you, the Philadelphia Dog Show, on Saturday, when they film that event, oh my gosh, you can't even walk in there. There's so many spectators because they have what they call a bench show, where the dog's on a bench and you can go talk to the owner or the breeder or whatever. I mean, thousands of people come to that show. It's unbelievable. And then even when they have the stands and everything, the stands are packed. And those people are there clear to the end. They don't leave. It's just amazing. It's an amazing dog show. It's run by professionals. The Kennel Club knows what they're doing. AKC's there. The sponsorship is there. It's just, it's amazing. I mean, for me, judging Best in Show there was a once in a lifetime. A lot of people don't get to judge Best in Show there. For me to get to do that, it was an honor with all the judges in foreign countries, this country, to get to do that.
Right.
I feel very privileged and very, I thank my prayers every day for being able to do that.
Do some people just go that are casual and say, I think I want to get a dog. Let me go. It's like going to a boat show. Here's
Absolutely.
all the dogs in the world. Every breed's here. Let me go see the temperament of this one or that one. And
that's one of the purposes of dog shows and the bench shows, few that there are. The Kennel Club of Philadelphia, Westminster, are an excellent opportunity because those dogs have to be there all day on their bench when they're not being shown. And so it's a great opportunity for the public to go and meet different breeds, speak to the breeders, learn what it's like to live with each kind of dog. It's a great place to...
Hey, these are very good as family pets.
Right.
These are not the ones you want around your little babies or your little children.
Right. I want this one that's going to protect my kid outside, that kind of thing. It's a great opportunity to learn about breeds that you may not have even thought of, but you go see the ones that you're attracted to visually and see if that's the one that's going to work for your family.
Also, there's like apps. You can, ask questions and you answer them, and they can sort of pinpoint what dog's best for you and your family.
So we were talking also that the Lakeland here in Polk County, they've got a dog show coming up in February. Do you have any information about that? Hey, it's these dates.
We'll be there.
Will the TV stations be there? Well, we need to get PGTV there. I'll get Brian Lacey, my friend.
TV stations come in the morning and they interview the show chairman and stuff, and they go around and see the dogs, but it's not going to be televised. But Liz knows the date, and we're both judging there.
I believe it's the 12th through the 15th of February this year, if I read correctly on my way here.
Well, we make sure we get this show on before then, so hopefully some people can go. And if they're interested in animals, dogs, Brian Lacey, if you're listening, we need to get PGTV there. He's a friend of mine from Polk County TV.
Right. And they have...
And these shows will also have some performance events. They have a dock diving, and I think they might have Fast Cat.
Right.
Wait, a cat at a dog show?
CAT stands for coursing ability title,
Let's let a cat go in the middle and see which dog catches it.
which is just a long run, a timed run.
And where's it at? It's at the
Sun and Fun.
Sun and Fun.
Yeah,
out
Sun
at
and
the
Fun.
airport.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's not at the Lakeland Center. This will be an outdoor show then.
No,
They've got a
it's
stage there.
actually inside.
Okay.
It's inside.
They
I
have
guess
several buildings.
Right.
I
And
guess
so the
there's-
rings themselves are inside the building.
Okay.
I guess that used to be hangars or something.
They
I
are.
don't know.
They're all hangars
Yeah.
out there. That's
So
the Sun and
yeah,
Fun.
it's all
Sun
inside.
and Fun is the second largest air show in the United States.
Oh yeah, wow.
Oshkosh is number one, and Lakeland Sun and Fun is number two. And it should be coming up in February or March, from what I remember, at least the first quarter. So
Oh, that's cool. It's a really nice facility.
family fun for
Yeah.
everybody. I mean, it can't
Right.
be all pressure and stuff.
No, it's even if you come and and you want to look at some dogs and talk to some people, you can also see some of the planes.
Exactly.
It's 2 for 1.
Hey, everybody, this is your host, Todd Dantzler. As most of you know, I'm a partner with Saunders Real Estate and have been a very active and working broker for over 42 years. I have fostered strong relationships throughout the state of Florida, working on properties ranging from agriculture and development land to multifamily, commercial, and industrial projects. If you have any real estate needs at all, please give me a call. I'd love to help. My direct line is 863-877-2846. Thank you. How has the world of judging changed since y'all got in it to where it is today?
Oh gosh.
Or has it? I mean, have the standards
It-
changed, or the standards today are the standards
The
of the
standards haven't
1900s?
changed.
Standards generally have very few changes through the years.
Okay.
Some of them have been the same for 30, 40 years. Others are revised within 5 years of today. So, but basically they have stayed the same to keep the dogs individual and according to their purpose. As far as judges and judging,
Well, the judging process has really changed in the last
Okay.
30 years. Okay, when I first started and she first started, you had to go in front of an AKC rep, sit there, take a test, okay? And that's, they ask you questions about that particular breed that you're applying for. And a lot of breeds have disqualifications. If you miss that disqualification, you didn't get the breed. Okay, when I started, it was 1 for 1, 2 for 2, 4 for 4, and you never got more than 8. Now the system is you can get 12 breeds to start. And before you even prove you can judge those 12 breeds, you can have another 12.
It's kind of fast tracking the judging process.
People will tell you, and I wrote articles about it, I think it's sort of insane. And the reason why I say that, somebody wants an informed opinion. If you get 55 breeds to judge in 1 year, I don't think you can do justice to those breeds, okay? And it's like I say, it'd be like going to the bank, stealing $1 million and walking out the door. It's just, for me, nowadays you take the tests on a computer. If you miss the disqualification, you can take the test over on the computer. It's just not the same. And back in our days too, they had what they called a hands-on. They bring 2 breeder judges and a regular judge, and they'd have 6 dogs. You go over those 6 dogs. You place those dogs the way you think they should be placed. And if the breeders and the handler or the judge didn't agree, you didn't get that breed.
Right.
They didn't give it to you. That's all stopped. It's the system. When somebody tells me nowadays how hard the system is, I just want to lay down on the ground and just laugh myself to death. It's just. And back when we did it, you had to judge the breed 5 times. If they didn't show up, you had to keep doing them. And sometimes you could be what they call provisionals before you got regular status. You could be on provisionals for 2 years. You couldn't apply for more breeds. Right. Now, if a breed enters and they don't show up, AKC says, "Oh, okay, we'll count as it being here." It was never like that when we started.
I think that there definitely are more dog shows than there were when we started, and so there's more of a demand for more judges, and there's studies on this percentage of the number of judges this percentage of the time. But again, we judge when we're invited. If clubs don't want us, then we don't go.
There's 5 more than
and
do.
so there are judges who are popular and there are judges who aren't popular.
Right.
But I think the whole judging system has evolved because of the demand for more judges to judge more shows.
And the thing I tell people too, probably I don't know, probably 20% of the people or the judges judge most of the shows. I mean, I can tell you for a fact, we used to have a friend who kept numbers on, who judged the most shows. Right. And Liz and I were always in the top 5. I was usually like number 2 or 3, and she's like 4 or 5. So, and you have people bitch about that. They go, well, same judges always judge and everything. But there's a reason for that. There's a reason we can judge all breeds, and also there's a reason that people respect you and understand what you're doing and respect what you're doing, and they want an opinion that they feel they can live with.
Right. What's the most expensive breed out there to buy? If I just say, hey, I want to take Eli's credit card with me because he's got about $1 million limit. I don't care what I get. I just want to buy the most expensive dog. Are they purebreds or are they hybrid dogs that are out there?
A blue French bulldog, which is not allowed by the standard.
It's $15,000
for a dog.
There was actually a dog many, many years ago. Scotty did all kinds of winning. And this is like probably, 30 years ago? They paid like $200,000 for
did they put these dogs out for stud like they do with a prize-winning horse? Is that how you get the fees?
The fees don't equal the horse world, right. either in the young ones, smaller, young ones, or the stud services.
What's the smartest breed? You're both judges.
I think probably poodles are the smartest.
I would say a standard poodle.
Right, but absolutely.
But then you've got, think about what these dogs do. You've got Labradors and German Shepherds that guide blind people around, and your life's in their hands. They're right up there too. I think the standard poodle just has more of a sense of humor.
I'll tell you another breed that's really, really intelligent. It's a border collie. Let me tell you, those things are so intelligent. I mean, you watch them in performance stuff. Oh my gosh, they're hard to beat. And golden retrievers. Yeah. They're very, very good in performance stuff because, they're very smart.
What do you think is the best pet if you've got small kids?
There are so many different breeds.
Just one that fits your family's personality.
People tend to think little kids, little dogs. Yet when I groomed dogs, I groomed a Bouvier that guarded not only the owner's kids, but all the kids in the neighborhood. And if somebody was working, say there was a lineman working on a pole, that dog would position itself between the lineman and the kids, always watching.
Wow. So
it's a tough question. There's so many breeds that are good.
I tell you, one of the smartest breeds I've ever seen in my life is my Border Terrier. Yeah. And let me tell you, they have what they call fast cat, okay, she was talking about. And you go from one end and like 150 yards down the thing, and the dog's supposed to run down there to meet you, and with the timing and everything to get a thing. My Border Terrier would go about 2 feet and go, I ain't going. If you want to run down there, that's fine, but I ain't going. And then we tried putting another dog with her, and the other dog could take off and run 100 yards, and my dog could go about 5 feet and go, nope. And I said, that's a smart dog.
When my kids were little, I had a Great Dane, and we were told this the other day, they're leaners, and they would lean on me and move. This dog would lean on me and move me, and then he would lean on these little babies and knock him down, and they would get upset. My daughter's got a chocolate lab that I think is like a rhinoceros, and she's got a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old, and it's like, it is just a bull in a china shop. So I think your pet has to fit your lifestyle and everything.
Right.
So when we're watching these dog shows on TV, what as a consumer, what as a fan, what should we be looking for to enjoy it? I know that some people watch an auto race just to watch the crashes. If you know what you're doing and you know what the skill level of these drivers are, you can really appreciate how they set a car up and do things. How should someone watch a dog show?
Well, just pick your favorite.
Right.
That's it. Pick your favorite. And enjoy it. And don't bet on any of them.
I can tell you this: when I put that Belgian sheepdog up for the National Dog Show, I had so many emails and people say, "Oh my God, that dog's just beautiful. I'm glad it won. I'm glad it won." So even if you're not a dog show judge or whatever, or you just love dogs, sometimes you can watch on TV and go, that dog's beautiful.
Yeah.
And you know, I mean, you don't have to be a judge to know when something's really beautiful. It's just like art. If something's on the wall and it's beautiful, you say to yourself, whoa, that's a beautiful piece of art.
So what's a misconception people have about dog shows or judges or your sport in general?
A lot of novice people come into the sport. They don't have a great dog. You know, sometimes breeders sell dogs to somebody they don't know. They don't always give them the best dog.
Right.
So you start out with bad dogs. I can tell you from my personal experience, the first 2 or 3 Old English sheepdogs I had, you know, I had a handler, and I'd look outside the ring, and I'd go, mine doesn't look like the rest of them. And I'm going like, you know, after a while, you become smart and go, something ain't right here. And I had a handler who was like the biggest handler in Ohio. If he couldn't finish your dog, nobody could finish it. And, you know, at the time, there'd be like 50 sheepdogs shown that weekend. He couldn't even go 1, 2, 3, 4. But, you know, I paid him cash. He made a lot of money. And he'd say, let's go another 15 shows. And after a while, I was smart enough. I go, no, we're not doing this. And I got a better dog. So, but what I'm trying to say to you is sometimes people start out with bad dogs and you know, they're novice people, and then they claim it's all politics. I didn't win because the judge knows this guy or that guy, and, you know, I don't think he was a fair judge. And, you know, it's just like everything in life. Everything in life has politics. I don't care what you're in, car shows, this, that, or whatever. And, you know, so that, and, you know, and some people unfortunately say bad things about you when you're a judge. They go on the internet. They say things about you. They email you and say bad things about you. And I told you the other day, I don't even answer them. I just delete it because, you know, all they want you to engage in an argument, and I'm not going to do that. You asked for my opinion. I gave it to you, and if I'm that terrible in your eyes, don't show to me. Save your money. Right. You'll save yourself aggravation. Save me aggravation.
Well, I love your passion for the sport and for your industry and your business and for each other. It's really fun to watch y'all get excited about this because it's infectious. And I hope that people, if you're close to Lakeland the 12th through the 15th, you'll head out to Sun and Fun for the dog show. I'm assuming there's a modest entry fee or ticket price or something because it is.
I don't think they charge
nothing.
I don't know.
I think they charge for parking, but that's it. You know, well, one thing I want to say, if you come over and say hi. Yeah. I love new people. I love to talk to new people.
Can people bring their dogs to the show? I mean, like their pets?
Yeah, a lot of clubs let them bring them in.
Maybe
you know, as long as they're under control. But what I was going to say, I'll do my best to direct them to a good person to talk to. Okay. I'll talk to them. Liz will talk to them. You know, this is a family sport. We need young people in this sport. It's like every sport. You know, there's not enough young, you know, car drivers. There's not enough. And our sport's the same way. We don't have enough young people in this sport than what we had, you know, 30, 40 years ago. 30, 40 years ago, there were anywhere from 25 to 3,000 dogs at every dog show. Nowadays, you get dog shows with 400. You know, there's the days of 3,000 and 4,000 dog shows are over with.
So we've been here a little bit over an hour. You've gotten to see Eli. Can you give us your opinion on Eli as a breed? Does he have all his teeth? He's got a good coat on him. He smells like English leather and brute, which is a little bit of it.
I think his ears
he's well-spoken.
I think his ears are a little bit too low.
Too low? Maybe we can have a surgeon nip him up and...
No, we like Eli. You know what? He looks like a best in show person to me.
So he's got best in show material.
Absolutely.
Oh, Lord, he's going to hit us up for a raise. There's going to be 2 jars of jelly of the week.
That's another nickname.
Another nickname.
He's far smarter than me because he can run that board, and I know I can't do it.
Around here, he's the notorious ELI. So, is there anything we haven't talked about that I haven't asked you that you said, well, Rishi really would have mentioned that because I wanted to talk
I just would
about
like to say that I'm so fortunate to have been able to spend my life in dogs, to make my hobby my income for the majority of my life and meet so many wonderful people that I'm just grateful for everything.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
And I definitely agree with that when you're doing something you love, it's really not a job.
And it shows. Y'all are
Right.
You're the same today as you were a couple of days
Right.
ago at your house. It's just a good time, good personality, lots of laugh. You enjoy laughing and having fun. And Liz, I understand you're up for Judge of the Year. Is that correct?
Yes, it's quite an honor. I'm not sure how the nomination process works, but
Well, we're going to stuff the ballot box to get you over the finish line.
out of all the judges, there are 3 nominees, and I'm fortunate to be one of them. And on top of that, the shows that we run still in Pennsylvania, where we're from, have been nominated for the shows of the year as well. And that's a super honor because we put so much work into it. We part of the shows is our foundation fundraiser each year.
Right.
And it doesn't sound like a lot of money to the organizations that raise millions and millions, but the work that Charlie and I have put into the foundation, we've been able to donate over $350,000 to charities which benefit dog people and
That's
the
a lot of
dogs.
money. That's a lot of money.
We've done that for 18 years, and it's just whether I did another dog show or anything or put on another dog show, I love the charity work because it benefits so many. And, I always tell people this, if you love something, you got to give back.
Right.
You can't just take. You got to give back. And that's our way of giving back to the sport. And like she said, one thing I'll say about dog people, and they may fight in the ring or fight outside the ring, but if somebody gets sick or somebody has a problem, they come together like you've never seen in your life. I mean, they'll be there for whatever you need. They raise money. They do this. They have an organization that we give a lot of money to called Take the Lead. And that gives money to people who are, their house gets burnt down or, they're in the hospital, with terminal cancer, stuff like that. And this organization helps with all their bills. And Liz and I have given them probably well over $250,000. And also there's what they call the AKC Junior Scholarship Program. And we've given more money than that, probably $150,000 to that. And that helps young people and dogs go to college. So for me, that's the excitement of dog shows. I mean, I love dog shows, but I love doing that because I feel like I'm giving something back to the sport. And, and she's right about one thing. I've got to go places I never would have got to see people I love and are my dearest friends, got to see great dogs. It's been a life I've never thought was ever possible.
And you got to be on Todd's podcast, which I understand this is the first
This
podcast
is
y'all
the
have
first-
ever done.
Right.
You've been on national TV, but this is your first podcast. I feel so honored.
This is our first podcast, and I got to tell you, it's been exciting.
Good. It's
fun.
And I got to say, I got to give you kudos. You came to our house, you interviewed us, and to me that meant a lot. It shows that you have a passion for what you're doing.
Yeah, it's
and hopefully we'll do another podcast with you. This is just entertaining.
Good.
We enjoy it, and and we want to get the word out about dog shows. I mean, I told you before, when I was a kid, I never heard of a dog show in my life. And some lady come up to me, "I've been to a dog show." I go, "Huh?" But so a lot of people probably don't know about dog shows, and we want to get them involved. And it's a really, really good sport. With everything's not going to be rosy when you do something, but if you can get your kids involved in something that they really love or you love, that's a great thing.
Yeah. So if you're in Central Florida, come to the dog show in Lakeland at Sun and Fun, which is at the airport.
Absolutely.
February 12th and 15th.
Right.
And go up and introduce yourself to Liz and Charlie. I mean, they're very friendly people.
Right.
When is the selection for Judge of the Year? Is that coming up, or is it
that
long?
will come up in connection with the Westminster Kennel Club.
Saturday.
The awards dinner is on Saturday,
I think it's January 30th.
31st.
Or 31st. We go to the awards dinner. There's probably 300 people there, and they announce who won. It's a big deal. I mean, I gotta be honest with you. I'm jealous. She got nominated for her Judge of the Year. I didn't get nominated.
Well, make sure you're wearing your tux that doesn't have dog holes in it with blood,
I wonder
or
who
don't
he
have
voted
slobber
for.
in your hair. I hope he voted for you. Is there any? I mean, who votes for that? Can we start a campaign to vote for Liz?
The voting has ended. If we had only done this podcast sooner, we would have known. Yeah,
because my guest at the next show is Anthony Pedicini, who was my campaign manager. We could have turned him loose to mount a full-blooded campaign.
Well, we'll let you know when Charlie gets nominated.
That's right. That's right. So, well, it's been a joy. It's been a lot of fun. You can clearly see the passion you have for the sport. I'm dogless right now, but my kids think I need one, but I'm not quite sure I'm ready for one. But I've had them my whole life, grown up with them with all different kinds.
When you're ready, we're here to help you
and I
find
appreciate
that.
I will probably give you a consult with you. But I do appreciate y'all taking the time to come out. I wish you great luck at the dog show in Lakeland coming up. And as your travels, it's not easy. It's a grind, but you are living in the world that you thoroughly enjoy, and that shows. So any final comments before we close out?
We'd just like to thank you both for having us. I mean, this has been a lot of fun. I hope we've educated a few people about dog shows. I hope for us that we proved that, dog shows are worthy of people to be there.
They should.
And it's a lot of fun. I mean, it's just plain fun.
Well, that wraps us up for today. Thank you, Liz. Thank you, Charlie, for coming in. It was a lot of fun. Our guest the following week, our next episode will be Anthony Pedicini, who was my campaign consultant when I ran. He also did my younger brother. It's a high energy show, and it'll be a lot of fun. We're going to get into the mind of how they think and what they think, what's going on with modern campaigning, and I think you will find it enjoyable. So as we close out today, there was a death in the world of music recently. It was a guy named Bob Weir from the Grateful Dead. I was never a big Grateful Dead fan, but he was instrumental in a lot of music, the music world. So as you're going home today, or as you're sitting at home tonight, when an alternative mood, put on a little Grateful Dead and enjoy the music. Thank you for joining us on Todd's Podcast. Thank you for listening to Todd's Podcast. This has been your host, Todd Dantzler. If you enjoyed today's episode, please don't forget to rate, review, follow, and subscribe to Todd's Podcast on your favorite podcast app. If you have any questions for me, suggestions for future guests, or are interested in sponsorship opportunities for our podcast, please just fill out the contact form on my website, todddantzler.com. I look forward to hearing your questions and feedback, and please take care.